It's time. It's time to call, ladies and gentlemen, if I may have your attention, it's time to call to order the Waukegan City Council's Public Works and Infrastructure Committee meeting for Monday, August 21st. The time is exactly 5 p.m., 1700. Can I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Turner.
Aye, you're here.
Alderman Felix.
Felix is delayed. He will be here. He's on his way from work, but he will be coming.
Alderman Bolton. Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
All right, we have a quorum. Item B, may I have a motion for approval of the minutes for the July 17th meeting of the Public Works Committee as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Newsom,
Second.
second by Alderman Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item C, audience time. Any member of the audience that would like to say, speak before this committee regards anything on the agenda for this committee? There is one non-employee, yet former employee of the city, Mr. Vukovic. Would you like to say anything? Thank you, sir. Moving on. Item 2, old business. There is no old business. Item 3, excuse me. I'd like a motion for a resolution approving a professional services agreement with Water Treatment Specialist LLC per section 2-458 subsection I, subsection 4, professional services for operational support services for the water department for a not to exceed amount of $80,340. Motion by Alderman Martinez.
Second.
Second by Alderman Newsom. And any questions here on this motion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, if I may, I'd like a motion for a resolution approving change order number 5 with Aircon refrigeration and heating for HVAC upgrades in an amount of $90,790. The staff recommends that the members of the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee authorize the mayor to approve a resolution approving change order number 5 for $90,790 with Aircon refrigeration and heating for the HVAC upgrades for City Hall and Public Works, bringing the new total to $2,494,107. These funds are to be charged to line item 205-1205-24512. The contract for the HVAC upgrades for City Hall and Public Works was awarded by the City Council in June of 2022, with change order number 1 being approved on September 6, 22, for replacement of isolation valves, and change order number 2 on December 19th of 2022 for the control panels, and change order number 3 on March 6, 2023 to replace the ethylene glycol, and change order number 4 for a control valve for the air handler and heating coil for City Hall. Aircon needs to replace a duplex compressor and pneumatic thermostats, as well as inspect, test, and perform air balance for the VAV terminal units at Public Works. Currently, Public Works is unable to control the temperature for the air conditioning in the building. The original contract was awarded in the amount of $2,290,768, with change order being 1 being for $52,412, change order number 2 being $33,067, change order 3 $18,820, change order 4 $8,250, and change order number 5 $90,790. It brings the new total to $2,494,107.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is,
Are these unforeseen items, or they were not originally bidded, or what? What is different things popping up that we,
These here up at Public Works are unforeseen items. They were previously looked at. Some of them were working, some were not. So as they put the
So-
new system in, they noticed that.
or that they're not working now?
Yeah. So, and with the compressor, that's a major component for this system. So, you know, we need that one.
Do we think we're gonna get any more?
Change orders.
Yes.
As of right now, I don't think we should get any more, because when I spoke with the contractor, this total amount is to check and service and replace anything that's on this list
Yeah.
that needs to be tested.
Yeah, I was gonna ask similar questions as Alderman Newsom, because it not just pertains to this specific, resolution, but we have a number of them in here for change orders, and we see these often, and it just seems to me that we need to track the change orders. I don't know if maybe you already are, but, it just seems that often we're bidding out a job, and when you bid a job, you're supposed to go and look at what's required. What are you gonna do for this job? Fix the AC. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna have to do, right? Change the tire. What does that mean? What are you gonna do? And then we come back with change orders. And here we've got 5 change orders, you know, what did it say? It was, yeah, 5 order, what was this one? June of 2022, here we are in August 23, and we've had 5 change orders, so. All right, so please just keep that in mind. Any other questions, Alderman Martinez?
Can I,
No, I'm sorry. Madam
first, can I make a motion to seat Alderman Bolton?
Thank you. Motion by Alderman Newsom to seat Alderman Bolton. Is there a second, please? Alderman Martinez seconds the motion, and Alderman Bolton is seated. And you're just in the nick of time, Alderman Bolton, because we're gonna have a roll call, please.
We're on item B. Did,
Yeah, we'll wait, seriously. I was just joking.
Did he have a question, Alderman Martinez?
No.
He didn't have a question? Oh, okay.
Alderman Bolton, we're looking at item B, which is a change order for the HVAC system here in City Hall and in Public Works. And if you want to take a quick gander at it, if you have a question.
No, not at
Okay,
this time.
roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
All right. Item C. Item C, if I may, I'd like a resolution, or a motion for a resolution approving a contract with Air Comfort for HVAC preventative maintenance and emergency repairs per section 2-458, subsection I, subsection 3, joint purchasing agreement through Lake County, Illinois, for an estimated amount up to $225,000. Chris, would you like to explain this one to us, please? I can read it, but save time, or you just speak to it.
Basically, this is for preventative maintenance. For instance, things that are not covered under the warranty. So we have a preventative maintenance job that needs to be taken care of right as we speak here at City Hall.
Okay.
And this will cover that.
Now, when we fix this, is it gonna stop being freaking cold up here on the days? Because it gets pretty cold.
They're working on that part. This is something totally different.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, any questions for the director?
Is this for a year? Is this for 225? Is that for a year? I don't see. Is that for the next year?
Valid until December, I'll read it for you, Edie.
The current award is through December 2023. So will this extend for another year? This is for another year, right? Till 2024, December?
This is for up till December.
Yeah, that was my question too. How
It
long
says
is
the
the
current
contract
award is
for?
valid until December 31st, 2023. What,
Right.
the one that we have
Eh,
now?
eh,
And this is a new one, or what?
This is,
No, the current, if I'm interpreting this, or if I understand this correctly, what you're saying is this that we're voting on, you're calling this the current award, is valid until December 31st, at which time this item, same item, will have to be brought back to the city council. Is that right?
So this is only giving us a few months? She gonna-
she's gonna explain.
How the county works is they do calendar year from January to December. So in December, when they renewed their, contract, we did not bring ours at that time, just because we were in the middle of, doing the HVAC. So now we're bringing it for it to cover us as part of our bid until December 31st. And then once the county issues their renewal letter, then we'll bring it back again. We won't be increasing the amount. It'll still fall under the same amount, but that can take us until December of 2024.
Okay.
Got it.
So a
Okay.
contract is only for a year.
Yes. Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Thank you. Item D. I'd like a motion for a resolution approving the purchase of materials from Mononi and Waukegan per section 2-458 subsection I subsection 3 joint purchasing through Lake County, Illinois for a not-to-exceed amount of $70,000. Staff recommends this. Public Works is requesting permission, to purchase sand, gravel, topsoil, and stone from Mononi and Waukegan per section 2-458 subsection I subsection 3 joint purchasing through Lake County, Illinois for a not-to-exceed amount of $70,000. The current award is valid until November 30th, 2023, at which time this item will have to be brought back to the City Council for approval of an extension or a new awarded vendor. The highlighted items attached are the items that Waukegan will be purchasing, funds to be charged in line item 555-9155-25468. Okay, questions?
So
Do
I
we have a
assume this
motion?
material is to be used throughout the city, different projects?
Correct, and different departments too.
Did somebody make the motions? Do we have a motion?
No, I'm sorry, we did not get a motion. Would you like to make a motion?
We don't have any I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Alderman, thank you, ma'am,
I'll second.
and Bolton, thank you. And now we've already had a question. Do you have any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item E. I'd like a motion for a resolution approving a license agreement for adopted road program to Aaron Park for the following road selection on Lawn Avenue near Diversity Park from West Hill Avenue to Southwest Avenue. And Public Works is requesting approval of the resolution for adopted road program license agreement with Aaron Park, care of Min Kim, parent as the child is a minor. So Aaron Park is a minor, his mom is Min Kim. For the following road selection on Lawn Avenue near Diversity Park from West Hill Avenue to Southwest Avenue. All instructions and rules in the license agreement must be complied with, as well as safety training program before the litter collection can begin. Motion, please. Martinez, motion.
I will second.
And Bolton is the second. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm just curious to know, how does one, how are they able to, how does this program work where you're able to adopt a highway? Does it have to, can it be an individual? Does it be a organization? Can you give us information on how that works?
Individuals or organization, the application is up on, if I'm not mistaken, the application is up on the website. This started, the interest in the development of this ordinance started late last year or maybe the year before, when Youth Conservation Corps wanted to adopt 2 streets in the 6th Ward, and we said, hey, we don't have a ordinance, and we don't have a legal framework for that.
Yeah.
And so the kind attorneys that are Ron Friedman drafted the ordinance and we approved it. I bet you Alderman Newsom remembers when. I don't, but we did. And we did, we passed the ordinance.
No, I think we had one before that, because I think the Exchange Club used to do Adopt a Highway. There's a sign on Lewis Avenue where they used to do it, so I don't know.
I think they
I
did
think
it.
it goes back.
I think it did without an ordinance. Stu, you remember when we talked about this, when you worked up that ordinance?
Yeah, so we, there was a program that was existing, and we helped formalize that and created the license agreement. But I believe it was a pre-existing program, yeah.
So, to answer your question, yes, an individual or group of individuals or organization can request to adopt a program. A street. And what's interesting too, what I caught is that there is a training process so they know how to pick up trash. Go figure, but.
I mean, it'd be nice that we can have more people adopt these streets. I just don't, it's like a spontaneous thing that I see. I don't see too many of them in the city. And I'm wondering if we can advertise and market it to where we can get more people involved and want to get more information on that. It'd be great. I don't know if we do that now, you know, to let them know, hey, we are taking applications, or we welcome people who do want to adopt a highway or a street.
Right. You know, that's a good idea, and that kind of falls in line with several other things that we could do better to promote. And so I think what I'm going to do, and I'll talk to you and maybe Alderman Newsom, because she has a lot of institutional knowledge or memory of stuff. Maybe jointly we would come up with like a list of things that we could promote when we host our board meetings.
Right.
I mean, I got stuff that I've initiated within my ward, and I forget to promote it, right? So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a great program, so I'd just like to see more people involved and getting information out there. That way they can want it, you know, go out there and want to do this. So.
Can I have a motion to seat Alderman Victor
So moved.
Felix? Motion by Alderman Newsom to seat Mr. Felix,
I'll go ahead and motion
and
it.
second by Alderman Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I
Thanks,
have a
Victor.
following question in reference to this. When this organization adopts this road, what responsibilities do they have? Any?
Picking up trash.
I'm sorry?
Just picking up trash. But they could, generally that's what happens. They just go out and pick up trash. But they could go out and cut grass too if they wanted. But basically it's trash. Maintaining cleanliness is what the program is for.
I guess I have one more question.
Yes,
So
sir.
when they're out there and they're cleaning the highway, how do we warn the motorists that there's people working on the side of the road?
Well,
Or do we not?
that's part of their training
Exactly.
stuff, how they, you know, depending on what type of street, is it the main thoroughfare like a Grand Avenue?
Right.
Or is it like a Tiffany Street, right? So and how do they approach Andrew? As an example, today, there was a crew in the 6th Ward at Porter and Jackson Street. That's just where Jackson curves to go down to Grand. They were out there, they had a guy out with a stop and a slow sign, controlling traffic flow. So depending on where they are is how they would do it, but that's part of their training process.
I just want to make sure that they are aware that, you know, there's people working the side of the road.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think according to the contract and the lease agreement, they have to go through this training. Then when they're out there, they're required to wear vests.
Correct.
That they are working, and I think it's once a month, at least once a month, they're required to go out and
Yep.
clean it up.
Now, final. So what if they don't go out and pick up the trash? Do we take the sign down and tell them don't pick up trash anymore? How do we enforce it? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Aye.
Did we seat Alderman Felix?
Yeah, we see.
Yeah.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item F, I'd like a motion for a resolution, approving change order number 1 with Joel Kennedy Construction for lead service line replacement in the amount of $1,857,740. The contract with Joel Kennedy Construction for lead service line replacement program was originally approved by the City Council on March 20th of 2023 for not to exceed amount of $5,352,600, with funding line items listed at that time as 205, this would be the line item it would be funded from. 205-1205-27043, and 245-550-427-043, and 556-916-0274-043. It has been determined that no funds for this project were charged at that time. It is now being requested to charge the $7,210,340 to a single line item being 555-916-027043. So they were gonna split the charge across 3 line items, and that didn't happen, and now they need to get paid, and so they're just gonna take it out of a singular line item. Questions? Oh, motion.
I make a motion.
Alderman Bolton, thank you.
I have a question.
Second? Is there a second?
I have a question.
Second? I need a second on the motion.
Go ahead, second.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
All right, questions, please.
So this exactly, this is just to remove the lead lines, right? That's just for the work itself?
Yes.
And what exactly, can you explain that again? Why is there a change order?
So initially it was awarded, and Chris, you correct me if I'm wrong, but initially this was, the project was awarded and the monies, the cost of this contract was to be split between 3 line items as listed here in 205-1205, 205-550, and 556-916, et cetera, right? So that's not the full line, but those 3 line items. And recently it was determined that those charges were never placed against those line items. So now they're asking for a change order. Instead of splitting them across those 3, they're gonna charge them to a single line item, and that line item is that last one, 555, or correction, it's a new one, 555-916-027043.
There is actually a change in the scope of work,
Okay.
which I believe the city engineer can explain the need for, and this impacts both this item and then the next one as well.
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
So there's actually 2 items going on. The first one is increasing the scope of work. The original contract called for 120 partial replacements with 240 full replacements, meaning 300 total. At that time, we were very positive that we weren't going to have as many not replacements. However, as the contractor started doing more exploratory excavations, it was noted that the public side, most of them have that service. So we are increasing the scope of work to replace those service lines in addition to more replacement, which brings us to a total of 557 replacements. The original was over half of that, 300. There are, given how wide we have seen increase in prices, so right now this change order is actually a benefit to the city. We're paying around 12,000 per service line. Future services will be near 14,000. So it's the best interest of us to complete the work. It's laid out in the bid document that you have on your agenda. In addition, if I'm not mistaken, the request from my office was to fund the project with 3 different line items. That's money that we coordinated with CDBG, ARPA funds, and our water and sewer services.
Right.
And making sure that we have those proper funds available, which they are. We just need to make sure that we can release them, and that will be per council's decision tonight.
And when you say that now, we're gonna invest on the public side. That means that, we were trying to fix what was going into the private homes. Now we're seeing that there's more work on the outside. Is that what
That
you're
is
saying?
correct,
Okay.
yes, because our initial surveys, we do have data, and that line that leads from the curb stop to the home that's considered the private side, we have some data as we always advertise our waukegansurvey.com. However, we don't have data from the curb stop to the main, that it's the public side, and that's where we are seeing a lot of the lead service lines in place, and those need to be accounted for.
All right. So if I'm understanding what you're describing then is there's a water main runs down the middle of the street. There's a line that goes between the water main and the shut-off valve.
Correct.
Right? And then there's a line that goes between the shut-off valve and into the house, and there's another shut-off valve.
Yep.
Right? So you're finding now that there's, when we asked the folks to do the survey, they would go in and they would scrape the pipe near the interior shut-off valve and determine if it was lead or not.
Correct.
And then when you started digging the holes and respacements and stuff, you said, oh my God, there's a lead line between the water main and the external shut-off valve, which is city-owned.
Correct.
And so now we gotta pay
Yes.
Kennedy to fix that too.
Yes. Always, in all contracts, we are allowed to reduce the scope of work. However, the directive between Public Works, Engineering, and the Water Department was to proceed with the work as it was laid out. So if you look at the documents, there are many addresses, close to 1,200 addresses. However, not all those are full service, but we are still having to replace the public service side. So just to make it simple, instead of replacing 300 service lines, we are replacing close to 600, and that is the total scope of work.
Okay.
And I have a question for our constituents to know. These areas where we're doing the lead service lines, these are already in plan, right? Are we planning to resurface these after these lead lines are taken care of?
So to answer your first question, Alderman, yes, these are the areas that are laid out in the project scope. Within the bid documents, we have maps attached to it, and those are, that is a scope of work. It's to make sure we complete the work so we can come with the resurfacing in the next month or so.
Okay, thank you.
Jesus, I have a question. First of all, thank you so much. So I know that Berwick is scheduled for early fall, right, September. Do you anticipate, and are we on schedule? I mean, once this is approved, I mean, do you anticipate anything, or are we ready for this to, to start? I get a lot of calls from my constituents that live on Berwick. They want to know, hey, when does it start? And from my understanding, what you guys tell me, it does begin in early September, if I'm not mistaken.
Our goal is to start this year, Alderman. We are planning ahead on our bidding documents. They came in last month. We're still under review, planning with Joel Kennedy to ensure that we finish the lead service line before we award the contract for the resurfacing. So I don't have an answer for you now, but you're all more than welcome to call my office so we can discuss in more detail and see where it will fall. It will either be this fall or early spring. But we are ready to start the resurfacing with the bidding process within the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez. Aye. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Motion passes. I'd like a motion for a resolution approving a change order number 2 with Robinson Engineering for LSLR Construction Engineering Services in the amount of $62,500. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Newsom and second by Alderman Bolson. All right, questions, please. All right, I'm going to read this, and maybe that'll memories or generate some questions. The contract with Robinson Engineering for the construction engineering services for the lead service line replacement program was originally approved by the City Council on May 16th of 2022 for a not to exceed amount of $130,000, with change order number 1 being approved for $7,500 on November 7th of 2022, with funding being approved to CDBG funds 245-550-427043. It has been determined that no funds for this project were charged at that time. It is now being requested by the city engineer to charge the $200,000 to 205-1205-24435. Any questions?
So how does that tie into the, if you can explain what is this exactly? For the actual extra work that we're doing now, we need the engineering to,
That is correct, Alderman. So you see the increase in price for construction. We also have to increase the price for construction observations. Typically, it's around 12% of the construction cost. If we do the math, we're paying Robinson around 3.5%. So that is a savings to the city. We're not have to pay the delta, which is the 6.5 additional. So just to answer your question, because we are increasing the scope of work, we also have to increase the scope of work for our inspector to be out there and make sure that the contract's being fulfilled per the requirements.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Motion passes. I'd like a resolution, a motion for a resolution approving change order number 1 with Boller Construction Corporation for raw water station improvements in the amount of $821,891. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I
Motion by-
second.
Motion by Alderman Newsom, and seconded by Alderman Bolton. Questions? Or, I'll read it. Excuse me. The contract with Boulder Construction for raw water pumping station improvements was originally approved by City Council on March 20th of 2023 for a not-to-exceed amount of $3,133,800, with funding line items listed at that time as 556-916-027710. It has been determined that additional work is needed, such as transformer-related work, skylights, hatches, and basement painting, which was submitted as 4 separate change orders, but it is being presented for City Council approval as one. It is now being requested to charge the $3,955,691 to 555-916-027712. Are there any questions?
Chair, if I could just explain this, Public Works staff and I had a number of discussions about how to do this. All of these items are related to basically one portion of the work that was unforeseen at the raw water pumping station. The vendor submitted 4 change proposals, basically separate invoices. They were different components of basically the same project. So that's why we decided to include it as one change order, putting it under basically one cover, and they were just different components of the same work.
Okay, thank you. And the raw, Chris, explain what the, I know, but I'd like you to explain for the audience and others on the committee what the raw water pumping station is and does.
Antonio will explain it, sir.
Oh, I thought you said attorney, and I'm like, I don't know about the raw water
Yeah,
pumping
let's
station.
hear it.
Antonio, God,
Let's
thank
hear
you.
it.
Scared me.
Hello, Alderman. Antonio Dominguez, Director of Water Utilities. So that's the building where the raw water comes in from the lake. It's basically a big basin.
Yeah.
And the pumps are located there, and the water's pumped around into the water plant. And then from there, it comes into the water plant, into settling basins, and into the filters and the
Right.
process.
How many pumps are there?
There's 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Did we replace all of those?
We're going to replace 3 of the 4 motors, but the only thing we're changing with the other motor is a new VFD drive. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. You know, folks, I would encourage you, if you have an opportunity ahead of time, to schedule a tour of the water plant with Antonio. It's incredibly interesting, and I mean, we just turn on the water and out it comes, but there's a lot behind, there's a lot that goes on in that water plant, that whole facility, inside and outside and multiple. It's really incredible. And you also get a sense of Waukegan's history because it's pretty old, so, which is why we're going through a lot of replacements. Thanks, Antonio. Any other questions?
I have a question. So this amount, because we have an amount, certain amount that was budgeted for for the year, right? To get all these things done, is that correct? That's that 3 million figure? So does this affect like any other plans to get other things done?
Well, this was one of the most expensive change order here was a project that we try to do priority projects, but this project started before our SCADA system and our MCC controls, which is our electrical component that's inside the water plant. So this is just basically doing the work that we were going to do on a different project. So,
I got it. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item I, I'd like a motion for a resolution approving change order number 2 with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly for engineering services related to the raw water pumping station improvements in the amount of $55,000.
I so move.
All right, thank you by Alderman Bolton.
I'll second.
And, I'm sorry, was that Alderman Martinez? Thank you, sir. All right. The contract with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly for the raw water pumping station and electrical improvements was originally approved by the City Council on September 20th of 2021 for a not-to-exceed amount of $300,000, and change order number 1 on November 7th of 2022 for $30,300. The scope for the project has changed by increasing the capacity of the raw water pumping station, and in turn, there were significant changes requested. The new project total is now $385,300. Is there any questions? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Thank you. Item J, I'd like a motion for a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with North Chicago, the city of North Chicago, for the use of North Chicago's animal control facility.
I so move.
Oh, Alderman Bolton
Second.
moves and Alderman Newsom seconds. All right, if you guys didn't read through the packet, and there's not a right up here, I'll just give it to you off the top of my head, correct me where I'm wrong. So we did approve the demolition and new construction of a new animal control facility that's gonna be located at Waukegan Public Works. Same place, same footprint that the existing facility is. This is a temporary, we're gonna temporarily use North Chicago's animal control facility. It's a little smaller, but I've been assured that it does have a capacity for us to move our operations down to North Chicago. North Chicago's animal control operations were transferred over to the county some time ago, so their facility is it's empty, right? So we're in process of moving down there. They're all packed up at Waukegan Animal Control. They're in process of moving, they're ready to go. This just finalizes and formalizes the deal, the agreement between Waukegan and North Chicago for the utilization of North Chicago's animal control facility.
Any question? I just want to know, I know that they're going to build the new facility, but do we have an approximation of how long we'll be in agreement with them? Like, when will the building be up and running and ready for us to move in ourselves? And
Well, right now, we're just waiting on, our current animal shelter people to move into the other facility in North Chicago. Once that happens, then we will start the process of cutting off all the utilities and replacing some of the service lines, water and sewer. In the process of that, we will contact the company that's putting up the new facility so that they can start deporting all of the equipment to Public Works. And then, once everything is set up, they have a pad that they have to pour and set up, and then they will start the construction.
okay, all right,
So We still got a little time, but once it gets going, it's gonna get going.
What's the process? That's what I want everybody to
Correct.
say. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
process to do it. It's not gonna just,
It's a
from
prefab
tonight.
building, right? It's just-
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's prefab. It's not like, when they build your house and they'll bring in, and sometimes, and they may need to do it here, they'll actually pour the walls on site and then lift them into place, but it's basically like putting a puzzle together. So, but they are pre-work, as the director described, they have to cut the service lines off and lay a foundation and all that stuff, so.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Out of curiosity, how many animals do we presently have that will be moving?
Ooh, animal control's not here, so
Just
Yeah,
curious.
I'm not sure.
I can tell you that they have 25 kennels, so a minimum of 25. And that's for dogs, right? And then they also have space for cats and other small animals, so I would venture 25 is right about where we're talking. It could be a little more because if I'm not mistaken, and I may be, I think in some cases they may put two animals, two small dogs might go into the same kennel. They also use they only have one washroom up there, and they use that as an isolation room. If an animal comes in injured or sick and needs to be kept separate from other animals, not in the kennels and such, so they put them in the bathroom.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll say it's 25 that are going down there. Right. Any other questions?
I have one question. I mean,
Yes, sir.
so maybe you can't answer, maybe you can't. What happens, because I'm having a problem with chickens in my ward. And a lot of people are talking, what
I
do we do? Do we
amen
take
that.
chickens or?
I got roosters.
How do we handle those?
What's
It's
up?
funny because I get those
Yeah,
calls too.
people are talking about chickens and how do we pick them up sometimes or how
Yep.
do we handle those?
We'll get them. No, I'm sorry, you're right. County gets them.
They're not supposed to have
They're not supposed to have them. There was an ordinance. Couple of years ago, we had some discussion around that. There was a guy up in the 7th Ward who had chickens and they wanted to raise eggs. We voted to not allow, well, there was a vote taken to not allow chickens in the city. I was in favor of allowing hens, but not roosters. It's the roosters that make the noise, right? But the chickens are dirty anyway.
He's
so.
got chicken and I got roosters.
Yeah, what chickens, roosters?
Yeah, and so I just tell people or I call animal control.
Call
I had
the
them go out
police.
over on Woodlawn maybe 2 weeks ago and get a chicken, but I don't know. I've never actually seen a chicken up there, so I wonder if they're taking them chickens home. I don't know.
Just for your general information,
Yes,
the
please.
keeping of livestock, fowl, or wild animals is prohibited. There have been a number of communities who've gone through the same discussion, and I have never seen more passionate and angry debate
Yeah.
than about whether to allow chickens. And because sometimes when you get a bunch of chicks, you don't know if they're hens or if you've got a rooster in there.
That's right.
And roosters do not just caw or call in the morning, they call all day.
All day.
long.
Yes, as I know, because Chicago does not actually have that ordinance, and plenty of people have them.
If there's no ordinance against it,
North Chicago does, the city of Chicago does not.
really? That's surprising.
Yeah, you can have, people have chickens in
So
Chicago.
how do we handle it? I mean, I've sent
Yeah.
emails, but I got no response. They're still,
I send an
My
email or
neighbors.
call animal control. They go by and make contact with them and tell them to get rid
I
of
did that.
They get rid of the chicken, and I think the people either cook them or,
Let's send out another email.
Get
What'd you
some of
say,
We got to
Mr.
do roll call on
Garland?
that last one.
Chickens
gotta
are
do
hard
roll
to
call
catch
on
too.
that, North Chicago.
You ever try to catch a
we're
chicken?
still talking about it.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
picture that.
All right, so, is that it? Any more questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Come get
Alderman
the-
Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Felix,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Martinez, Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Did I say aye? Aye, okay, all right, great, thank you. All right, so it's time to adjourn this meeting. It's been very productive. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so
Motion by
moved.
Newsom, second by Bolton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 5:54 PM.